What's happening is you're eating food that is so unhealthy and so disagreeable with your body, it can't be processed out. So the food is literally going into the body and just stopping here. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And the implications of that is what they don't understand. Like, that's diabetes. Okay. That's also impotence and erectile dysfunction.
What's impotence? Yeah.
Well, when you can't get it up. I mean, because you got to think, you got this belly that is literally sitting on top of your reproductive organ. Okay. You probably got 10 to 25 pounds of undigested food rotting and fermenting in your gut, leaking out onto those reproductive organs. So it makes sense why a lot of men don't have that natural blood flow in that area, because that's exactly what a medication like Viagra does. The only thing it does is increase blood flow to the area.
That's it?
That's it. It's a lack of blood flow. So that's also an indication that you're going to have issues with your heart as well. You see what I'm saying? Yep. If you don't have proper blood flow, you're going to have heart issues. You know what I'm saying? So it's the food that is the issue, but it's also the alcohol too, because alcohol goes directly into the bloodstream and goes directly to the liver. And the more you drink it, it is a toxin. That's why they say when you get drunk, you are intoxicated. You see what I'm saying? So you're damaging your liver. And then even if, let's say you're not a hard liquor drinker, you drink beer. Well, beer has a lot of estrogen in it, the hops.
That's why Alan's been more so on the women's side lately. Okay, I get it. It makes sense.
But you see what I'm saying? and so it's really important for men to know, like a lot of the like paradigms and things that we think about when we think about what it means to be manly. Like the way that we're eating, like it's making us very unmanly.
First of all, I agree. Hold on. So beer has estrogen in it.
Yes, the plant
produces.
The plant that it comes from, it produces estrogen in the body. Yeah.
So,
but aren't there a lot of other foods that also have like estrogen, like soy and things that people consume all the time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That we aren't even aware of.
And soy is in virtually all processed foods.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So I mean, when you start to think about it, you know, there's this conversation around the feminization of men today.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. Like, and it's not just happening in men, it's happening in women too in a lot of senses. But we'll talk about men first. So with men, you have to understand that they're not only getting it in all processed foods, because all processed foods are gonna have some form of soybean oil, some form of, even if you're eating meat, they will add like some form of soybean meat in there, etc. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So you're getting that in the diet, but also there's a lot of these what are called endocrine disruptors, which are like fake estrogen and plastic bottles and plastic wrappings on most of the food is sold in plastics.
Yeah.
You know, most of the products that we use, they have things that are called phthalates, parabens, etc. All these things turn into fake estrogen in the body. You see what I'm saying? And what that does is now you got a man who has this estrogen dominating in the body. And when that happens is you start to see the effects of it, because most people don't understand. Hormones tell us what, not only our bodies what to do, but they can tell it what to look like, feel like. So ultimately, when you see a man who has issues with low testosterone, right? You're going to start to see balding, erectile dysfunction. You're going to start to see him lose muscle mass.
So
inability to build muscle too.
Wow. Okay. Wait. Damn. This is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. This is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So balding is a sign of lower testosterone levels.
Yeah, it could be a sign of low testosterone, 100%. Wow. Now, heredity sometimes plays a part, but now we're seeing so many men with issues with, you know, losing their hair. And not just hair on their head, like body hair too. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Damn, so I ain't gonna lie, just being honest with you. I just thought it was stress. But like one day I woke up, like last 2 years, or maybe 2 years ago, and I lost all the hair on my calves.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, what's going on? Like, but everybody's like, oh, you're getting 30. You're touching 30. You're about to be 30. You're getting old. I'm like, nah, bro, this is weird.
Yeah.
I think I need a soy-free diet.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really important, and I brought this up before, but since the 1980s, the testosterone in men has been decreasing at a rate of 1% every year. So you think about that, at least
20-something
no, at
right
least
now.
40%, bro, since 1980.
Oh, wow.
So like in 1980, the average testosterone was 500. In the 1990s, it was 425. In the early 2000s, it was like 325. Now we're seeing, I literally heard this yesterday. Somebody was, you know, telling me about somebody that their son had a testosterone at 85. And it's really important to understand that that's not only going to change, that's going to change how you look too, bro. Like gynecomastia is the development of man boob.
Yep.
And even then in science,
I don't think I got it, but
Is that really U.S.
Huh?
statistics?
What's that?
Is that really like more so U.S. statistics? Because like in Europe, the guidelines are so much more strict. In what
Yes,
people
yes,
ingest.
because for the vast majority, American food is banned in Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
So, for instance, like you get certain food companies here, if they decide to sell their food in Europe, they have to change the ingredient.
Right.
So if you look at that same product in Europe versus here, the ingredients are going to be totally different. That's why you have a Mexican Coke, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
The ingredients, they won't allow high fructose corn syrup in the country. So yeah, it's totally different. And so as a result, like a lot of men are not only losing their manhood, but they're also losing their ability to reproduce too. Because infertility is big now, because that's another common effect of low testosterone, low sperm count. You see what I'm saying? So like it's a real big issue. And even in science, because pesticides are another issue, because if you're eating processed food, you're eating pesticides. And the second most prevalent pesticide is atrazine, okay? Now you probably heard the study where, this frog was converted into a
tadpoles in California.
What comes out in the means is the frog was made to be gay. No, the male frog was converted into a female frog.
Yeah, he had developed women. He had both reproductive organs, the women and
the men parts were disappearing.
Yep.
Okay. And this is atrazine.
And his personality was changing from being the one that was in front to be the one that was in the back.
Yeah. And that's the second most common pesticide in the US, which is atrazine, which is banned in Europe.
And in that study, they said that the amount that it would take to affect a human, they are actually using 3 times that amount of pesticides on our agriculture, which actually hosts 80% of the United States.
Yep. And so they use 200 nanograms per deciliter to convert this frog into a female frog. What would you guess the limit is in America's drinking water? Just guess. So 200, what would you guess?
1,000.
3,000. That's the limit that they're cool with being in American drinking water.
So 200, so it's about what, 60 times? No, 6 times?
So just imagine that, bro. Like that's allowed in the drinking water.
Like drinking water as in what, like bottled water or
the water that you get that comes out of your tap.
That you cook with, basically.
Yes.
And my question is too, if you're washing your body with, let's say you don't consume it, but you wash your body, it still can get into your
Into your pores.
Yes. You got to understand, like even when patients would come in the hospital, and let's say they had an issue where they couldn't swallow anything, we would put like a fentanyl patch on them to help them get rid of the pain. So whatever you put on their skin, your body is absorbing it.
Wow.
So if it's having that impact on men, what's happening with women?
Same thing with women. So with women, the issue becomes the estrogen dominance in the body. And when you have estrogen dominance or high levels of estrogen in the body, issue you're going to have is breast cancer. Uterine cancer. You're also going to have fibroids, PCOS, okay? You're also going to have a lot of issues around having a very painful menses. You're going to have a longer menstrual cycle, which most women are having.